I don't know about you, but I certainly love rereading some of my favourite books or favourite series of all time. So the purpose of today's video is to show you a group of books that I have put aside that I cannot wait to reread and hopefully reread this year. Good morning and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about a couple of books that I've put aside that I am hoping to reread this year. One series in particular I have already reread a couple of times, so if I do read it again it will be my fourth time reading it. One series is, the first book is one of my favourite books of all time. We have a horror book in here, but the rest are fantasy. So first off, I'm going to talk to you guys about the horror series that I would like to reread. This one actually has a film coming out this year, so I would like to try and get this one read within the next couple of weeks before watching the film, and that is Clown in a Cornfield. I absolutely adore this book so much. I'm a massive horror fan. I love all things bloody and gory, and this book delivers on that front. I have done a video previously on this one about YA horrors that I like. This is classed as YA, but it is gruesome and gory and all that good stuff, but it's just amazing and I cannot wait to carry on. Book one is my favourite. I did enjoy it book 2 and 3 as well, but this one just holds such a place in my heart. It's a quick rundown with this one. We are following our main character Quinn. She moves to a small town where there are a bunch of teenagers who have a YouTube-like channel and like to pull loads of pranks on and film them and post them, and when stuff starts going wrong, of course, everyone decides to blame these kids, when in fact there is a very disturbed killer clown on the loose and he is taking the lives of young teenagers. I pretty much finished this one in one sitting because I physically couldn't put it down. It was just like reading a film, and yeah, I just loved it. So I'm definitely going to be picking this one up again soon. On to our fantasy books now, and I'm starting off with Kingdom of the Wicked. I have briefly talked about this one last week because I've just finished the second book in the spin-off series to this book, but this one is another one that just holds such a place in my heart. I love this series so much. It is funny, it is exciting, there's a mystery behind this one, and it is spicy and all that good stuff. So in this one we are following Amelia. Her twin sister has been murdered, so she is trying to find answers to that. She is a witch, so she does try and summon up some answers to try and figure out what's happened to her sister, but unfortunately she accidentally summons a demon, which is Wrath. He is the sin of Wrath from the 7 sins, so he does sort of try and help her to try and figure out what has happened. This series is so beautifully written. It is set in Italy and it's so focused around small restaurants and things like that as well within Italy, and it's just so good. I completely fell in love with these characters, and I'm so happy that with the spin-off series we do still get to see most of the characters from this series as well. Moving on to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I absolutely adore this series so much. This is a spin-off series from the Caraval series, and I do love that one, but I don't feel that I need to reread that one because it's just not grabbing me as much as this one did, even though I did very much enjoy it, and I do think Caraval is a great series to read before getting to this one. But I just absolutely adore these characters so much. Book 2 is actually my favourite within this series, so I'm looking forward to just going back to this world, being with these characters, being with this magic and everything that is just perfect. It is a perfect series and I absolutely love it. In this one we are following our main character Evangeline Fox. She just wants her happy ever after. She has the love of her life, but unfortunately she does find out that he is going to marry another person, so she decides to try and stop the wedding, and she strikes a deal with Jax. He is the Prince of Hearts, to try and stop the wedding. The deal is that he will help her stop the wedding if she exchanges 3 kisses with him, his choosing of where and when. To be fair, it does sound simple enough until Evangeline realises that he is going to be using her for a lot more than she originally pledged to do. I'm going to be looking forward to getting back to this one. I think I'm going to read this one probably around autumn time. But yeah, I'm excited. On to the next book. This is actually one of my favourite books of all time. It is a chunky beast, and the final book is actually coming out this year, so I would like to reread 1 and 2 before the next one comes out, and that is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I don't know what it is about this one. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like this book because it is chunky and it does focus a lot on a religious aspect. But I don't know what it is about it. I just absolutely fell in love with it. I just love the travelling aspect of it. I loved our main character so much, and I love the fact that it was in 2 timelines as well, and that he was such a tortured soul. In this one, it has been 27 years since the sun last rose, and we are following Gabriel. He is a half human, half monster, and the last remaining Silver Saint. He is dedicated to protecting his realm from all the monsters. But at the start of this one, he has been captured by those said monsters, and he is telling his story of how he got to where he is today. And it is heartbreaking. It is a very sad story. It very much gives me Witcher vibes. He is very much like a Geralt, but if you can believe it, even more grumpy. But yeah, I just love it. I just can't wait to get back into the story. It is a chunky one. It will take me a while to get through, but I am looking forward to it. And finally, I'm sure this series needs no introduction, but it is, of course, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I first read this series back in 2020 and I absolutely fell in love with it from the start. I have read this one 3 times. I've read it twice, physical copy, and then I've also listened to the audiobook as well. I don't know what it is about this one, but I'm constantly drawn back to this story. It's just amazing. It's such a good starting point for people who are just getting into fantasy as well. But if for some reason you don't know what this one is about, we are following Feyre. She is living with her dad and her 2 sisters. They are very poor. She is the only one who is able to go out and hunt and find food for her sisters, who are very spoiled, and her dad doesn't really do anything. On one hunting trip, she sees a giant wolf, and she does take her chance there to take down the wolf so she can take him home and sell the pelts and obviously eat the meat so they can survive just long enough to get through the winter. However, what she doesn't realise is this is the wrong wolf that she should have been taken down, and he is in fact a fae, and then she is then imprisoned by the ruler of the Spring Court. He takes her back to his realm, where she has to live out the rest of her days. This is a series that I have read a couple of times. I have annotated the series as well, so it will be quite interesting to go back and see what I did annotate and see if I'll be adding any more this time around. I definitely recommend rereading this series if you have already read it once, because the second time round is just so much better. Even though you know what's going to happen and what is coming, just the overshadowing and everything. And because I've read obviously Throne of Glass and Crescent City as well, I have done rereads of those, so I do recommend doing that as well. But I just love it. It calls to me all the time. Definitely one of my favourite series ever, and I can't wait to get back to it. There you have it. Those are all the book series that I am hoping to reread this year. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, then please consider liking and subscribing. I would very much appreciate it. And I will be back on Friday with my reading update of the week, where I should have finished 2 books to talk to you about. So I'll see you then. Bye.